what happened with Joel Embiid in terms of when he did that self-oop dunk? It reminded me of when KD went down against Toronto. Not saying this is severe, but KD, if you guys remember that series, KD obviously got hurt against the Rockets and then he didn't play, and then the Warriors needed him against Toronto. Toronto, like KD was playing very well against Toronto. He had like 11 points in like 10 minutes or something.
13 minutes.
But he was cooking while just basically being a glorified spot-up shooter. Everything he was doing was catch and shoot, one dribble, pull up, in transition, we'll get a layup. That's what he was doing. The most basic game of all time. The moment KD tried to do anything that was KD-esque, which was someone close out, attack the closeout, power dribble, one dribble, pull up, his Achilles popped. Embiid, similar thing. Embiid was playing his game. He'll get to the free throw line, playing the post, nothing too extravagant. The moment Embiid tried to do anything Embiid-esque, his knee couldn't hold up. The moment he tried to do it. And that's why he shouldn't have came back. And I give him a bunch of credit for trying to play through this. The mental toughness it takes. Knowing
I left
that
my seat when he made that, when he threw that off the
it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And then he was on the floor and I was like,
yeah, exactly.
But
then he came back though.
And I'm like, for me, the Sixers, that's malpractice. There's no reason you are bringing this guy back. But hey, if Embiid wants to play, sure, whatever. But that's what it reminds me of. Embiid was nowhere close to being where he needed to be to play playoff level basketball. And they are going to run him into the ground trying to win a first round series against the Knicks.
They're not winning the NBA championship.
There's no point in doing this. They are going because I've seen the same thing with the Brooklyn Nets with James Harden when he hurt his hamstring and they brought him back when he shouldn't have played. And James Harden has not been the same player since. James Harden, he's not washed because James Harden is still a good player. But James Harden in 2021, when he was a top 10 player in the league, has been a shell of that since that moment. Blake Griffin in Detroit, when they were going to get swept in the playoffs with or without him, he played on that knee injury that he should have never played on. And James Harden and Blake Griffin's career was over from that point onwards. Isaiah Thomas, with his hip injury, tried to play through it for the sake of the Boston Celtics, and his career was over from that point onwards. I don't like what they are doing with Joel Embiid because I feel like they are running him into the ground, and I don't want Joel Embiid's career to be over trying to chase something that's unrealistic for this season. Embiid is not good enough or healthy enough to get this team where they want to go. So at that point, why are you risking his long-term? I know his health has been bad anyway, but you shouldn't be risking his long-term health for the sake of a series against the Knicks in round one, in my opinion. He should have never came back. And then once he hurt himself against Detroit and came back in the game, that was your warning sign number one. Then he hurt himself the next game against Orlando and came back in the game. That was warning sign number two. Then he didn't look right in the playing game. You ignored that. Then he was looking fine. And then he went down in the next game and you brought him back for the second half. You've ignored three big signs after coming off a meniscus surgery for no reason. That is disgraceful management from the Sixers. I don't care if Embiid wants to play. At some point, the organization has to do their job and protect players from themselves. Players are going to want to play. Anyone who's played sports, if you feel like you can play, you want to play. It's the management's job to say, hey, you should not be playing. We are going to protect you from yourself. Klay Thompson tore his ACL in the finals and wanted to play. If the Warriors let him play, that would be malpractice. These guys will want to play no matter what. You can't just be like, well, Embiid wants to play, so the Sixers should let him play. At what point is the organization meant to do their own job? Like, free Embiid, man. He doesn't deserve this.
Well, I'm saying, but I will also, and I said this on the timeline during the day, I appreciate the fact that he wants to be a team player and that he wants to commit to his team. But at the end of the day, the same thing that I said when he first tore meniscus, the fact that they let him shave off a part of his meniscus that's going to have a long-term effect for him the rest of his career, came back after 2 months just for them to be competitive in the playoffs in the first maybe 2 rounds. That's it. It don't make no sense, man. Like, I think that, and it just even yesterday, like when Embiid fell out in the second quarter, y'all, I legitimately thought in my head, there's no way they're going to let him play. There's no way they're going to let him at least finish that game. He came back in the second half. I left. I went to go do something. Came back, top of the third quarter.
I found out that he was back out there.
Is that hard?
Yeah, I seen him. I was like, he's in uniform?
Yeah, I found out that he was
and from that moment on, I lost my mind. I was like, why is he out here? And then I'm watching him. He can't move. He can't jump. And they have him out there playing. And the craziest thing is, he was still the best player on the floor. So, like, Embiid is so much better than everyone in this series. It's ridiculous. But there is no reason for him to be. He can't leave the paint. And shout out to the refs for just not calling the defensive 3-second violations that he was committing on every single play. Because
Which
if they did that,
the reason why he did that, Mars, is because he couldn't move out the paint.
Exactly.
That's why he was
couldn't
doing
leave
that.
the lane. So shout out to the refs for letting the game flow because Embiid was just sitting there the whole time. And then when it's time to get a rebound, he can't jump for a rebound. And Mitchell Robinson is there getting everything. There is no reason for him to be on that floor. And the fact that he's as impactful as he has been without being able to move is a testament to how good he is. Because even when he can't leave the lane, defensively, he's still messing up everything for the Knicks. And offensively, he's still drawing the amount of attention he is and creating for other guys, even if he couldn't score in the second half. And I've seen people, Joel Embiid.
If they get down 2-0, if they get down 2-0, do you think they sit him?
He shouldn't even play.
Do I think they sit him? No. Do I think they should sit him? Yes, but they aren't going to sit him. They are going to ride this.
It'll have to take 3-0. It'll have to take 3-0. Like 3-0, they're like, we're done. Or even then, they still would.
It's going to take him re-injuring himself. Re-injuring himself.
And
maybe he'll get a game off.
Which is worse, Mars, because if he re-injures himself, so not only do you lose him for this season, you lose him for next season too. I remember in 2004, Grady Little walks to the mound and he asks Pedro Martinez, how you feeling? It was obvious Pedro Martinez was gassed. He wasn't going to ask out of the game. You're going to have to take him out of the game. He's going to keep throwing. Instead, he doesn't take him out of the game, and what ultimately happens? He gives up a 3-run blast to win the game. Red Sox are out of the playoffs. These guys are not – you have to save these guys from themselves. This is the kind of stuff is what unions were created for, because you guys are not looking out for the best interest of your employees. The Philadelphia 76ers, as of right now, what I'm looking at, they couldn't care less about Joel Embiid more than they care about their bottom line. And if Joel Embiid is out there, that means eyes are on the TV. And if eyes are on the TV, that means advertising is on the TV. And it means it's more bread for us. We couldn't care less if Joel Embiid was able to actually run. Because if you watch Joel Embiid, he looks like he has a piano on his back. He is laboring. But the fact that he still knows how to play basketball and he can supplement that part away from the athleticism that he used to have when his knee was healthy, that's what the difference is. So when I watch this Philadelphia 76ers team and imagine how much better they could be if he was healthy, I think that they could make a championship run, only except Joel Embiid isn't even close to that. And the fact that they tried him out there, it's a disgrace. I think it's a disgrace. He's no way he should be playing.
Well, I said last year that I said going into its MVP season, they should literally, because he was hurt the playoff before, they should literally give him 50 games. That's it. He should play 50 games spread out over the course of the entire season. No awards, no nonsense. He gets a week and a half off at a time, 50 games over the course of the season, get him to the playoffs, let him be healthy, and then you can give him 20 straight to go on a finals run. But some of this is Embiid. He wanted to win MVP, and so he wanted to, get all the records and legacy stuff. Some of this is Philly. It's just dumb. Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey, all these people, and they're also selfish. And so, but again, he wants to play. He wants to be a good team player and everything else, and he wants to be a great individual. He talked about it. I want to go down as one of the greats. I want to be remembered for what I did. I get all that, but he physically cannot keep up with the grind of the NBA. 7'2", 280 pounds, 290 pounds, whatever else it is, and we're in a situation again, Mars, so you had 19, he was fine. 20, that was the bubble year. They got swept because no Ben Simmons. 21 was the meniscus. 22 was the orbital fracture and hand. And then 23 this last year was and then now we're in meniscus. This is 5 years. It's unacceptable.
You look, so 2018 was a freak injury. So that's not on Embiid not being able to hold up. He broke his face in like just a regular season game and he was playing through it, but that's what happened. 2019, that's where the stomach virus and he was dealing with some knee tendonitis, but I guess that's about as healthy as you're going to get. And then 2020, the bubble, he comes back, he's healthy. The issue is Ben Simmons isn't healthy and the Sixers were just inept. So they had no chance of winning that series, even though Joel Embiid individually played pretty good. 21, torn meniscus. 2022, like you said, the thumb ligament and the broken face. 23, the LCL. This year, the meniscus. I'm at the point, I'm playing him once a week during the regular season. He plays you play 3 games a week normally, 3 or 4 games. He's playing one of them. That's it. He's playing one game.
Are we looking at the Andrew Bynum situation with Joel Embiid, where his knees? Because this is around the time, like I think we're in year, like he got drafted in 14. He missed those first 2 years, and he's been playing ever since 16. So we're in year 8. We're finishing up year 8. So around year 9, this is when it's, like these big guys, like if I'm not mistaken, Boogie, guys like Andrew Bynum, they actually start breaking down. Not necessarily they're over, but they start breaking down. So are we looking at an Andrew Bynum situation with Joel Embiid where we might have to start managing him differently? Because there's no way he can play. I'm not going to get 70 games out of him for the regular season. He's going to break down at some point.
Well, even the pace he was on earlier this year, and everybody was, I get it, played really well. That 34-game stretch he had to start the year was literally untenable. He was so good. He was so dominant on both ends. It was his best defensive year since at least 2018-19. And the offensive output was insane. It was never going to sustain itself. It was never going to happen. And then once he got hurt, remember, he got hurt, and then he came and played in that Spurs game, and then he played in the what was the game right after that? What was the game right after that? It was
Indiana.
It was which one?
It might have been Indiana. He might have missed Indiana.
It was Indiana. It was before the Nuggets game. He played in that game.
Yes.
And then was on the injury report. Then wasn't on the injury report the day of the Nuggets game. And including me, I thought he was healthy. I thought he was just doing the duck thing again. Comes out that he's hurt for real. And then because of whatever, people blame the media, but him and Philly, he plays in the Warriors game. Clearly hurt already. And then Jonathan Kuminga falls on his leg.
And
so
almost the rest of the regular season.
It doesn't make any sense. It's just none of what they're doing makes any sense. The process is dumb. The thought process is dumb. They're not protecting their player. Even as an organization, if they make it in as an A seed, y'all, think about this. If Embiid played 25 games, they went in as an A seed, I'd give them a shot against anybody if he's healthy.
They would have beat, like, they could have beat Miami in the first playing game, but they definitely beat Chicago or Atlanta or whoever. So, like, they would have made the playoffs. The East is just trash at the bottom, so they would have made it. Like, I understand some of it is like freak injuries. Like, what can you do about your face breaking? Like, sure, I get that. But the fact, I think all of his knee injuries, I'm pretty sure, have been his left knee every single time.
Same knee.
His original torn meniscus, I'm pretty sure, was his left knee. The LCL, I'm pretty sure, was his left knee, and this year is his left knee. If you tear your meniscus twice, there's only so much meniscus you have left. Like, you don't just keep respawning meniscus. Like, he's running out of cartilage in his knee. Like, there's a point where you just gotta, like, use your brain and be like, this guy shouldn't be playing. I understand he wants MVPs, he wants accolades, but for the best interest of him and the best interest of the franchise, he should not be trying to play 65 games a season. He wasn't healthy when he was destroying the league. Like, I think Pat Bev spoke about, Joel Embiid was struggling to get through the games where he was cooking everyone. So rest him. Don't play him.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. The player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.